あるかもしれない。
Jotaro Kujo versus Toji Fushiguro is a matchup I have always been curious about. Not because I think the clash of power systems would be badass, but actually just because it's two deadbeat dads going at it. I know it's really weird, but I just find the kind of scenario or battle topic just really cool because of that. Kind of joking aside, there also is the fact that these two within their respective series are considered the strongest, being constantly glazed by many cast members stronger or weaker, or just being outright stated to be the strongest or to be some of the strongest characters within their own verse. But since I'm tackling such a heavy topic, I thought I would get one of my JJK friends on, No Operator, to tackle the JJK stuff involving Toji. So please do enjoy.
100%. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. As far as Toji goes, Jujutsu Kaisen power scaling gets a little wonky, specifically because it's one of those series where there are a couple different things that happen that just full on contradict other things that happen in the series. So in order to properly put Toji on the scale, one, we're going to have to understand what conservative scaling is for JJK, and one, we're going to have to also understand what the highball is, because in order to put Toji up against the other deadbeat dad here, we're going to have to highball him pretty decently. So in order to be completely generous here, Toji, when it comes to his attack potency, we can usually place him pretty high in regards to a couple other things that happen in the series. For one, Toji's big feat is going to be against the Disaster Curse Dagon, where he's basically able to mollywop the Disaster Curse, and special grades are some of the most durable, strongest curse spirits in the entire verse. Dagon specifically should be placed around city block level of attack potency, just based on the fact that his domain expansion is, for one, able to encompass a significant portion of the area, and also the man-eating Shikigami that attack in the domain expansion are able to do pretty decent damage to Nanami Kento, Naobito Zenin, and Maki Zenin, who all should have at the very least similar to or higher durability based off of other feats. The biggest comparison we can make when it comes to Toji is going to be to Yuji Itadori, who is one of the biggest speedsters and biggest hitters in the verse, who we know is also going to be lower than Maki Zenin. Maki is basically said to be able to catch a bullet, which at the very least should place her at near hypersonic speed, Mach 5, Mach 6, somewhere around. Similar also to her feats against Curse Spirit Noya, who's confirmed to be a Mach 3 speed at his absolute fastest, and she's basically just running and outpacing him and being able to beat him at every step of the way. So we can casually and generously place a Toji somewhere around Mach 5 to Mach 6 level. This tracks with other feats in the series where Sukuna, who has the highest speed feat in the series right now, is able to perception blitz the Maki Zenin that we're literally talking about that equals Toji, placing her and Toji at about Mach 5, Mach 6. We can place Sukuna at around Mach 10, which would track by placing him against someone like Gojo, who's able to warp over long distance speeds faster than the eye can tell. To get back into attack potency for Toji, we can also, if we're going to say that he was one, able to basically mollywop Dagon, put him above city block level, as well as if we're going to say that Itadori Yuji, who was comparable to the exchange event Maki, who was able to catch the bullet, as well as in the culling game, is able to throw people through an entire building and also endure being thrown through multiple buildings of their own. At the very least, place this Itadori Yuji somewhere around, like I said, city block, multi-city block, without including any of the buffs from Black Flash, which include the power of 2.5, which would very much vastly amplify that. Toji also has city block level durability at the very least, just based off of his hidden inventory feats against Teen Gojo. Teen Gojo is able to destroy the entire Jujutsu headquarters, which is basically the equivalent of a city block, with his attack power of maximum output blue, and if red is the exact inverse of blue, it's double the exact attack potency of blue. It's said to be this and confirmed. At the very least, red is also scaling to multi-city block level, potentially even further than that, which Toji basically tanks completely with no broken bones, really no cosmetic damage whatsoever, and is able to pick it up and keep fighting right afterwards. So at the very least, if durability, and I'm sure Metas also knows this, usually durability can coincide with attack potency. At the very least, the attack potency is going to be somewhat similar to, if not higher. So overall, I would hesitate to put Toji at small town level, probably I would put him, when it comes to attack potency and durability, somewhere in the multi-city block level range. And again, with speed, I'd probably put him in Mach 5, Mach 6 level range if we're to go based off of the Maki speed bullet catch, Maki keeping pace and going faster than Curse Spirit Naoya, who is confirmed a Mach 3 speed contestant. I know a lot of the things like the bullet catch and Naoya's speed at Mach 3 are contested even by the author, just to be specific feats to make Maki and Toji look cool, but they are literally the only thing that are going to push someone like Toji past the level of hypersonic speed, because other than that, most of Jujutsu Kaisen's verse, 99 to 95% of it sits at the very least around Mach 1 speed, just going off of piercing blood being an attack that's about faster than sound, and that usually outspeeds 95% of the verse. So you have to imagine that these characters at their peak are going to be and enter the hypersonic range. Again, Sukuna having the fastest feat in the entire series, which would be completely just perception blitzing a Maki, who again should be somewhere at the very least double the Mach 3 speed to be able to, you know, get one over on Naoya in their quick bounce. So it's, and again, Maki, whether you believe it or not, because I'm sure you'll have people that say Maki is lower than Toji, Maki is the same as Toji. It's a very controversial statement. We do have direct confirmation from the manga specifically saying that Maki and Toji are equal in power. And you know what? Even if you want to say Maki is lower in feats than Toji is, that just puts Toji higher than the feats that I just listed, which would be the Mach 6 speed and everything like that. So sure, highball Toji even more. I guess one of the most important things that I do want to also mention in regards to Toji's scaling, and that's going to be in regards to his massive durability. The best durability feat that we can highball Toji at would be probably close to large town level, if not even higher than that, specifically based off of Maki's feat of surviving a Black Flash from Sukuna, who's in his full power Heian era mode, who Sukuna we can scale to again another highball attack potency of large town level, if not higher than that, just based off of his fire arrow is most likely going to be similar to Gojo's maximum output 200% hollow purple, which was able to scar the entire city of Shinjuku, which would place him at around multi-city block level, if not large town level, when you consider again the to the power of 2.5 exponential growth that Black Flash does involve. So if you want to put Sukuna's striking level somewhere around, even at the very least multi-city block, again you could probably highball it higher. If Maki is surviving a Black Flash, which is multi-city block to the power of 2.5, we can calculate Toji at a significant degree higher, which I imagine is going to be very important for this matchup.
Interesting. Okay, so what is his hacks and stuff? Because I know he's an extremely interesting character in that regard.
The worst part is when it comes down to crossverse, Toji does unfortunately lose a lot of his hacks. His main benefits in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe are the fact that he has his one heavenly restriction, which basically separate Toji entirely from the aspect of cursed energy. And you know, normally in a lot of other universes, not having the power source that is required to have powers would pretty much just make you powerless. But in Toji's case, it completely maximized all of his human traits and output to get him to these high levels of speed and attack power and defense that he's even able to reach. The only reason I even invoke Itadori Yuji's name when it comes to power scaling him is because we know Yuji and Maki are at the very least able to somewhat keep similar attack power, speed, and durability when they fight Meguna at the exact same time, even though Maki should be a little bit faster and a little bit capable of a little bit more damage. But overall, the reason why Toji and even someone like Yuji in Jujutsu Kaisen are so strong is because they have so much of a stat advantage over all the other characters. Like I said, most other people are capping out at Mach 1, 1.5. Literally 95% of the verse are barely faster than sound. Toji's hacks is ultimately because everyone else in the verse just scales so much lower when it comes to things like speed. Maybe not attack potency, because you do have other people that are definitely, you know, multi-city block level. Even like I said, you know, the cursed spirit that Toji defeats is probably city block to multi-city block. Mahito is able to clear multi-city blocks with transfigured human attacks. Like, there are characters that scale higher in attack power, but one thing is, and Toji's a special case in this, I guess, is his durability also heavily outscales most of the other people, because for one, the heavenly restriction body, by maximizing his human potential, gives him a body that's said to be as strong as steel. steel. Obviously, we have to understand that when we say it's as strong as steel, that's also imagining that most other characters are going to be able to take, city block level attacks. So we have to imagine that this quote unquote like steel is exaggerated, in the idea that everyone else in the verse is able to handle, probably things that steel wouldn't be able to. So we have to take that with a grain of salt. They're basically just saying that Toji is more durable than everyone else. So
see, they're hyping him up basically.
Yeah,
it's common shonen like lingo just to hype up your characters and stuff when it's like makes no sense. We have it in JoJo's too with diamond statements. It's like, okay, but like there's other stuff.
But yeah, ultimately, when it comes down to it, he's mostly just a hands merchant. He does have really cool weapons, like Playful Cloud is one of the weapons that he's most known for, but that is literally just an extension of the user's physical strength. So the only reason why it's so great in his hands is because he has just, like I said, some of the greatest hands in the entire verse. So when he uses it compared to other Jujutsu Kaisen characters, it's a night and day feat. Does that give him any kind of, advantage anywhere else? No, not at all. Now, the Soul Split Katana is definitely something that's interesting because that is a sword that's said to ignore all durability entirely. So he does have a weapon that would, no matter who he goes up against, it's going to completely just stab you and do damage to you no matter how, durable you are. The reason that it accomplishes this is because basically what's in its name, it's said to attack an opponent directly at the soul rather than the body. That's why it literally slashes through the body, because it's basically attacking you at the soul level as opposed to just, the normal body level. The whole point of the sword is that it ignores durability. So you can still give it that feat outside of the verse. Whether you want to give it the soul damage or not, I mean, that just depends on how important the soul is to the universe that you're scaling Toji in. And when it comes to JoJo's, do you want to say that lets him have a weapon that directly attacks stands completely? I don't know, because I know you could probably give some controversy as to whether stands are the soul of the user or not. I'm sure that's a hotly debated topic.
It just depends. I think to just go over, just to make it a casual video for everybody to enjoy, to simplify it, yes, a stand, or whatever you want to call a stand, is the physical manifestation of a person's fighting spirit, or just spirit in general, through psychic energy. It more than likely can damage Star Platinum or any other stand in the series if it's being described like that.
Yeah, and you do also have one more big weapon that Toji has, and I guess it completely depends on how you feel it interacts with the JoJo's universe, which would be the Inverted Spear of Heaven. The Inverted Spear of Heaven is basically just a weapon that is said to nullify all curse techniques. So again, if you want to be generous, you could say, outside of the verse, in another verse, we're going to give it, supernatural power, nullifying, or you're just gonna say, they're not using curse techniques, so it's just a dagger, a glorified dagger. Toji does keep all of these different weapons in the curse spirit that he wraps around himself, and it's basically just a bottomless pit. So he's just basically able to like cycle between all the weapons, and he can do it pretty quick as well. When he fights,
Mantis just Kratos, dog.
Yeah,
hold on,
literally.
let me pull out the axe. No, remember the Blades of Chaos.
It's literally like a video game character where he cycles through his weapons, because when Toji's fighting up against a younger Geto in Hidden Inventory, we see him go from regular katana to Inverted Spear of Heaven to katana again, back and forth. So he's like able to mix it up very quickly. And whereas Toji's main advantage in the Jujutsu Kaisen verse is when he's fighting sorcerers, all these sorcerers are so used to sensing cursed energy and using a character's cursed energy to justify where they're gonna punch from and where they're gonna move to and predict their next move. These characters are not, on the inverse side, used to predicting a character who has no cursed energy. So Toji is deemed the invisible man because he doesn't have any senses. He's easily able to sneak up on people. He's easily able to be completely silent when he's sneaking up on someone. He's able to be very fast, but on top of being fast, he moves in a way that no other character, even Gojo Satoru, who's like the top of the verse when it comes to perception thanks to the 6 eyes, wasn't even able to keep up with Toji and was basically like, holy crap, this guy is just moving around me and I have no idea what's about to happen, because he's insane. He also just keeps random stuff in his Hidden Inventory curse. Like he literally kept like a bunch of literally an entire cloud of like 300 fly insect grade 4 curse spirits just to use as like a smoke grenade. Because one, it completely like blinds. Oh yeah, he's like the Batman of Jujutsu Kaisen for a reason. Like he's just big prep time, he's like big brain. He only attack if he has a target. If he's actually, I'm sure if it's a 1v1 one-hand situation is a little bit different, but he is canonically someone that just will exhaust you to the point where you have no chance and then will just kill you at the last second when you put your guard down. And that's it. He'll avoid the fight at all costs, especially against people that he knows he's not going to win against.
So spinning around real quick, let's talk about Jotaro Kujo, in specific his part 4 variant. Now the reason why we're using this variant is because, well, it's the premise of the topic, and this is when the JoJo community and inverse is when we all kind of agree he became a deadbeat, quote unquote, or at least the start of his deadbeat era. However, we do need to do a little bit of backtracking to understand where he is at part 4, because in part 4 it is stated he has not used time stop, or it at least is assumed that he hasn't used Star Platinum in a very long time. However, I do not think that's the case, and I will be making a follow-up video to this video about that topic, but for this one we'll just assume that he's just gone weaker over time. Jotaro in part 3 can be scaled off of most of the Stardust Crusaders and their feats, primarily being Polnareff and Silver Chariot. If you're a fan of my channel, you know what I'm going to be talking about here, the Sun feat from part 3 Stardust Crusaders. Here in this feat, a stand called the Sun has the ability to light up the entire Sahara Desert, and with that, he is compared to being a literal sun or a star. The Sun then proceeds to literally shoot out laser beams to Silver Chariot and the Stardust Crusaders, but Silver Chariot and Polnareff block these laser beams. Statements within part 3 suggest that Jotaro is just outright stronger than all the Stardust Crusaders, especially Polnareff in terms of physical strength. So blocking literal light beams from a star that is generating a massive amount of energy makes Jotaro ridiculously strong. Doing some calculations, on the low end you're looking at small town level to the very highest mountain level and island level in terms of attack potency. But the mid ball, and that's what I'll be using here, is somewhere around large city level. And like Noab said, I do think there is a correlation between attack potency and durability. If you're able to output all this energy, you should be able to at least handle all this energy. This is also backed up with the fight against Dio. Dio and Stand the World are literally compared to Jotaro and Star Platinum in terms of AP, speed, and durability, so they're roughly around the same. Jotaro can withstand the same attack force coming at his own body, meaning that his durability is actually higher than his AP. Now, in terms of speed, this is where basically everybody should know this if you're a JoJo's fan. Jotaro is fast as all hell. Looking at guidebooks or literal fights within part 3, looking at Polnareff again with him literally slashing light, Jotaro can be easily calced at bare minimum faster than light, and on the higher end of those feats, calcing them, they can be easily massively faster than light plus. Not only that, but some guidebook statements even double down on that fact. And most people forget, even the guidebooks too, that Jotaro gets even stronger during his fight against Dio, meaning all the calcs I just literally stated could be even higher. On top of all of that, his precision is unmatched in JoJo's, and he gains the ultimate stand status after gaining time stop, which he can stop time for 5 whole seconds. Overall, part 3 Jotaro is an absolute monster. However, we're looking at part 4 Jotaro here in this fight in specific, and in this interpretation of part 4 Jotaro, we are assuming he has gone weaker over these 10 years in between part 3 and part 4. The biggest downgrade being time stop being reduced from 5 seconds to 2 seconds, with it also being extremely draining on his body, as he cannot spam this ability constantly, and if he does, it actually gets progressively shorter and shorter. To be honest, it's just a glorified movement maker. He's not really using it in combat that much, and it's just not very useful here. 2 seconds isn't awfully a lot of time to do a lot of things other than just beat down your opponent, because, well, Jotaro is still extremely fast in this part. Since it's also not spammable and you have to use it very cautiously, it probably won't play a major factor in this fight too much. However, it is still useful in some scenarios. Now, in terms of scaling, this is where things kind of get funky for the most part and kind of go all over the place depending on your interpretation. And since this interpretation says Jotaro gets weaker, you kind of have to squint a little bit to kind of argue this. In terms of durability, Jotaro should still be around the same area. He was taking even more damage here than he ever did back in part 3 against Dio. So if anything, it's probably at the same level. In terms of speed, this is where you can say Jotaro is maybe confidently sitting at faster than light speeds, as people with no stand experience are being able to blitz him and like make him react in a completely different way than he's ever reacted before. So we can assume here he has gone weaker in terms of speed. However, there are statements and feats stated within this part that argue that he actually maybe even got faster, but I can't say that about his AP. He actually has no good AP feats in part 4. If anything, it shows that maybe he even got weaker because of how sheer heart attack was actually mopping the floor with Star Platinum and Jotaro. However, with all this anti-scaling, he is still considered the ultimate stand user. So where I would personally put him when downplaying him in terms of this part, speed is probably light speed. Durability is probably still the same as it was in part 3. AP is probably not at city level, but now at like large town level to small town level. And of course his hacks in terms of time stop have gone worse. Still overall pretty powerful, but not at the same level he was at during part 3. So with all that being laid out, let's actually talk about the fight that would happen between these two.
In regards to how the fight would actually go, I guess overall, if we're gonna give Jotaro the feat of being massively faster than light, depending on whether you want to say part 4 Jotaro has kind of been washed up or not, that's going to place him, I mean,
several times higher. It's not even funny.
To the point that Toji wouldn't even be able to perceive the ass whooping. So I guess the really only saving grace that Toji has when it comes up to part 4 Jotaro specifically is going to be his massively insane durability, which is going to give him, I mean, he might survive one, like if you want to use the lowballing scaling that Meta's used, he may actually be able to survive, albeit probably would come out pretty critically injured. He may be able to survive 1 to 2 punches from Star Platinum until he gets overrun, and especially because most of the punches are going to be coming in a barrage. Toji's just kind of cooked here, especially when it comes down to, again, the speed advantage. I really don't think Toji has any kind of weapons that are going to really separate that stat advantage at all either.
I'll glaze Toji just a little bit here. I do think that Katana could play a factor if Jotaro is like kind of underestimating his opponent. He sometimes does that in part 3. It's not too common, but if Toji does play or just outsmarts him, which is very plausible, it has happened a few times, he can get some crazy damage onto him that could be very lethal and might play into Toji kind of doing some more. I will be gracious here in saying that it might be interesting.
I agree with that generous interpretation only because the thing with Toji being an assassin is he doesn't waste his attacks.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
A very big character trait of Toji is just every single attack that he lands is meant to be the killing blow, without a doubt. You can see it even in the way that he attacks Gojo back in Hidden Inventory, where he hits Gojo in the throat and then immediately takes that and turns that into, I'm gonna literally rip you in half. Or like when he stabs Dagon, he lands 1 stab on Dagon and then immediately, okay, I'm gonna stab you 1,000 times until you're dead. If Toji is able to get that 1 good hit on Jotaro, I have no doubt in my mind that he would be able to make the most of it. Yes. But I guess the question would be is, I mean, the Soul Split Katana is going to ignore durability, so I guess you could say that taking durability out of the question and taking Toji's lower attack potency out of the question as well, Toji could just 1-tap decapitate Jotaro. But again, with that speed advantage,
yeah, the speed advantage is crazy.
It's not going to be possible.
I tried to lowball it as low as I could, but like it's still like he's still a bullet timer. Like in early part 3, it's still pretty insane. So it's just like you're basically like looking at the same character in terms of speed there, but even then, like during part 3 and even part 4, it's like it can't be that low. He's just still that fast, even in a weakened state, even though I don't fully think he's in a weakened state. I have a video planning on that. We'll get into that later.
So even if we are to use your lowball speed of like at the very least relativistic, right? I mean, like at that point we have stopped calculating Mach in numbers. Like like I said, even at the most gracious, because I'm sure you know what, there are people that will be out there that will probably say that even the Mach 6 calculation is lowballing Toji, and there's just nothing in the series that is there to support that. Even if you were to give him what I'm sure a lot of people would want to, of like high or massive hypersonic, again, we're talking relativistic bare minimum. Like I said, I hesitate to put Jujutsu Kaisen any higher than around Mach 10. I'm sure there's people that will give them, you know, like I said, Mach 1000. I've had people in my comments again give them, you know, like I said, massively hypersonic, which is, you know, in the realm of like a Mach 100,000 or higher. It's just not the case. And again, even if it was the case, it's not changing anything.
The speed advantage here is actually insane. It's actually really funny. JoJo characters are just fast for no fucking reason. There's just, I don't know what's up with Araki and just giving like insane speed feats to his favorite characters. It's just really weird. And then like the chain scaling from that is just crazy.
And we've even had this discussion before where like, I'm like, okay, like I can understand having the massively faster than light or the relativistic pacifistic feat, but is combat speed different? And you've given good enough justification that like even in combat, they're still able to relatively maintain that speed rather than just having offhanded, feats that are like, oh, they did this, but normally they can't.
To even back it up further with that, I can just pull this off the top of my head. The Dio versus Jotaro fight, they literally were like, let's compare the speed of our punches. And Dio's all like, man, you slow as fuck. And then like he gets faster and stronger during that entire fight. So like Araki's pretty consistent with it. He is a power scaler. I've said that so many times on this channel. He might be basic at it, but he definitely has it in mind when it comes with these characters.
Yes. Now, if we're talking, part 4, Jotaro who's lost his edge, maybe if we're not giving it a 1v1 hand-to-hand or, face-to-face confrontation and we're putting it as like Toji gets, a call one day and it's to, assassinate Jotaro. I have much more believability Toji would be able to accomplish the job in that sense. Although, maybe not. Maybe you disagree with me, but I feel like in a case of is Toji able to kill Jotaro? Sure. Is Toji able to fight and win? No. Yeah. If anything, this scenario requires a lot of shenanigans to give to Toji. It's just all like Jotaro's off guard and like Toji's behind him and uses the sword and it's just like, oh, through the heart, game over. But if it's like one-on-one, they're facing each other, it's just like, okay, you're getting cooked. Like you're fucked. Agreed. There's just no shroud in my mind. Again, like I said, the most generous thing you can give to Toji is that he might, if Jotaro doesn't do the full aura and just hits him one good time, he might live. And that's like the most generous thing you, and again, that's like Toji does have like mediocre regeneration, but like again, the speed advantage, like he is 100% getting that second hit into his face, and that's gonna bust his skull open before he recovers. So yeah, I think it's pretty evident between the both of us that it probably goes to Jotaro, even when we're like anti-feeding him and just like saying he's like worse over time, even though I don't agree at all with it. But yeah, it's pretty clear just in terms of stats, and I wouldn't say all hacks, but some hacks he is definitely stronger. All right, well, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you, Noah, for joining me for this video. I loved making it. I loved collabing with you. And our other video that we did that you need to go check out, I will probably say it in the beginning of the video, but I will say it here again. So there you go. Any last words, brother? No, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, subscribe to Metas. And you better subscribe to No-Op with his JJK stuff. You better. I better see you subscribe. Well, with that being it, like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow both of us on Twitter. Stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.